So, what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So we are back to our San Juan Vineyards exploratory here in this vineyard. And one thing that we did want to mention, because I mentioned the white wines here, that I also wanted to mention some red wines in Washington State, because it is important for me to note that when I taste a wine like this, and you can see that this is their right here. Red blend. It's actually what they consider to be a Bordeaux blend. So it's Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and I always say that because everybody knows me for Bordeaux and they know my background. But I always say that when people say we make a Bordeaux style of wine, I used to kind of like really not think much of that, because obviously you have to have the soil composition to be a Bordeaux style of wine. But I'm telling you, this is the closest thing to Bordeaux that I've had. And when I say that, this is actually from the Columbia Valley. But one thing that does stand out to me about Washington State red wines, especially Cabernet Franc, and is these wines are what I would say the closest thing to Bordeaux in the United States. And that's not to say that California is not producing a wine that rivals Bordeaux. We can all agree upon that there's some really great Napa Valley wines. I've had some of the best, like 30 years ago, tasting, Heights Martha's Vineyard or whatever. But one thing about these wines that does separate themselves a little bit, and a lot of Americans don't really pay attention, is they do have minerality in their wines, which creates what's called high acidity. And we were just talking about that, and that's important in a wine. A lot of times, higher acidity gives the wine more structure and body. And lift, and this has got that leafy tobacco kind of quality that exists in the left bank in Bordeaux. These are beautiful wines, so just wanted to mention that because it's important, for me to mention the red wines here. I've been talking about the white wines on the trip, but they do make fabulous red wines. Cheers.